Hey, Utica Brews and Barbecue is happening 1 week from this Saturday, May 21st, at Hannah Park in Utica. Live music from The Wait, a band featuring former members of the band and the Levon Helm Band. Squirrel Murphy is also playing. There'll be a food truck festival going on, samples for just $1, and you can buy full meals as well. Utica Brews and Barbecue, Saturday, May 21st, Hannah Park, downtown Utica. Get discounted advance sale tickets on our website at WIBX950.com. And we're going to give away a pair of tickets coming up later on this morning. Peter Franklin is the Gabby Cabby in New York City. And good morning, Peter.
Good morning, good morning. Would you like a Hiroshima story?
I know the president's going there, so I'm assuming you have something big.
Well, I don't know that it's big, but it's an interesting side little story I'd like to share with you and your listeners. I know this is catching you a little unprepared.
Yes.
But I think you'll find it interesting.
All right.
Sometime in the past, I became acquainted with a gentleman who is now no longer with us, who had been on the Bataan Death March. And in his retirement, he would tell stories about how terrible it was and how horrible it was and this, that, and the other thing. You know, marching and starving and being beaten and all these other terrible things. So what happened is that I put something on my website about it. I don't remember what the context was. I think it was something to do with a graduation at West Point or something.
Sure.
In any event, I got a letter from a Japanese commander who had seen that I had talked about the toils and the tribulations of the Americans and the British and I guess even the Canadian soldiers on that horrible march. And he said that they had it tough, too. He complained to me that they also had to do the march. They didn't have enough food. They didn't have water. And as bad as it was for the prisoners, it was just as bad for the Japanese guards who were mistreated by their officers. And I thought to myself, excuse me? Excuse me? That was his complaint to me?
Yeah.
In any event, I didn't continue to have any correspondence with him, but it really sent a chill up my spine. He was unhappy with his conditions?
That's unbelievable. The president is going there, and it's the first U.S. president, I think, to visit Hiroshima.
Yeah, well, I'm already getting an awful lot of chatter about that in the car. I mean, if you're over, I don't know, I guess 60 or 70, you're absolutely hysterical about it.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, just angry and furious and this. Younger people, including, by the way, some young Japanese people that I've spoken to, they really don't have that much knowledge of it. You know, you say, yeah, I think that was where the bomb
I heard
was.
about that.
Anyway, I don't know. I think he's grandstanding again as usual. I don't know what purpose it's going to serve, except to just make a lot of very older people angry.
I wanted to ask you about New York Times. I'm hearing stories that they're using prostitutes in order to save the newspaper.
Yeah, they're distributing them to the houses throughout the city. No, I'm only kidding. No, they're really having a lot of serious trouble. Their circulation is way down, and I think a lot of people don't trust it as much as they did once upon a time. And this past week, they've had a blockbuster, as they would say, report on prostitution in the United States, and showing pictures, many, many pages and pages of pictures of portraits of prostitutes, not, something sleazy on the street really as much. And, to me, it strikes me as just a way of kind of increasing their circulation because now that I've discussed it with you, I guess some of your listeners are going to run out to get a copy of the newspaper. But it's really kind of sleazy, I think, for the New York Times.
Are there still areas in New York? I know that Rudy Giuliani kind of cleaned this up, but you'd drive into the city and then you'd be sitting at the stop sign and 10 women would all come in and kind of reach in the car and put their fingers through your hair. Does that still go on?
Not really. I mean, that stuff doesn't go on. I mean, there's certainly a lot of very high-level prostitutes, most of whom are probably used by some state.
Right, big bucks, yeah.
Dig. But the fact of the matter is that, no, it isn't. It's more high class, I guess you would call it.
I do remember.
Then it makes the old argument whether it should be legal or not. Yeah, I think it should be legal. Yeah. It should be controlled, and girls shouldn't be getting beaten up and all that kind of stuff.
30 years ago, I took my parents to New York City, and our whole family went down. And I just remember pulling. It was about 10 o'clock at night. We're pulling in off the west side and coming across and stopped, and all the women came. The woman put her hands right through my father's hair.
Did you ever explain that to your mother?
I did. And trust me, the city's awesome. You guys are going to be fine with this. Don't worry, we're going to get past this.
Yeah,
my father's
it really isn't the same. And as a matter of
isn't.
fact, with the average cab driver today, and it's really a funny how things go full circle. If you got into a cab and you're the businessman from upstate New York,
right,
and you ask the cab driver, where can I go for a good time? He's going to say the Central Park Zoo or Rockefeller Center. You don't really know those places. As a matter of fact, we'll have to do that on your next trip to New York.
Yeah, we'll have to try.
You'll do a blockbuster article about it, but I'm going to have a tough time finding them.
All right. Listen, pregnant women in New York City. This is a really interesting story. Cannot be refused entering a bar or refused an alcoholic drink just because they are expecting.
Yeah, I don't know why de Blasio did it. I mean, you could say, well, it's another one of his scams, and he has interest in a liquor company or something. But who doesn't know that a pregnant woman is not supposed to drink, not supposed to smoke, not supposed to, have drugs? I mean, sorry to put the burden on the girls, but that's the way it works.
Yeah.
And most people have accepted that. Oh, no, thank you, I can't drink. Oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
And out of a clear blue sky, he's now eliminated it so that bartenders, and I guess stupid bartenders, will serve pregnant women booze, which is, I think, as a daddy of three looking back, absolutely crazy.
There's a matter of rights here, and I think, and I'm not sure that a bartender can legally not serve just because the woman is pregnant.
He could have until yesterday.
Really? That's
yes.
It
was against the law.
Well, I'm certainly against women drinking who are pregnant.
Yeah. And it was impossible to control because how do you really know? I mean, unless you're in your 8th month.
That's the next thing.
No, but bartenders in New York,
how dare you say I'm pregnant? I'm not
whatever
pregnant.
it is.
Yeah.
In New York City, you could not serve,
wow.
and now you can serve. So.
Don't forget that.
Listen, if you get pregnant, I promise I'll buy you a drink.
Okay,
and
Good.
The meth dealers are now saying, does that mean we can't serve meth to pregnant women? Is that what?
Listen, we go. And look, I think it's the first real big opening salvo in making prostitution legal across the United States.
Right.
We've gone through the transgender thing, the transsexual thing, the gay. Everything is changing so much in our society. I think people are going to say, okay, now it's time to make it legal.
Right.
And there'll be cute little stores all over. Maybe you'll even have a sponsor. Hi, this is Sally's Sleazy Joint on 1737 Utica Street. Come on in for a good time.
Last thing is the 5-cent fee on plastic bags. You know that they're trying to get rid of the plastic bags, bad for the environment. And now in New York City, there's a 5-cent deposit. Is that right?
Yeah, well, it is. But I got to tell you, man, most clever people like our family, we always go to the supermarket with our own insulated bag.
Take your bag, yeah.
That you buy in, let's say, a place like Costco, for argument's sake.
Yep.
And what we do is we put our stuff into that, which means you don't have to zoom home at 100 miles an hour. So